Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach, just what you can say about, the evolution of Clemson basketball during your time there, just what you've seen over the years, and then coming off of back-to-back, at least 21 seasons moving forward.
Yeah, I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish. Back in the day when I first got there, we didn't have the kind of facility we have now, and I think that has really helped us not only in recruiting, but just in terms of maybe enthusiasm for basketball. And been blessed to coach a lot of really good players through my 9 seasons at Clemson. Feel like our program has made a little bit of a turn, and 3 straight postseasons and back-to-back 20-win seasons. Looking forward to coaching this group this year. It's a little bit of a different team, 7 new players, but coming off a World University Games gold medal, something we're very proud of, and an experience that was really good for our players.
Coach, from the podium, can you expand on the thought of winning gold? What does that mean? How deep does that meaning go?
Yeah, I think, very few people have the opportunity to represent their country. So amazing honor and somewhat of a responsibility to make sure that you're competing at a high level. And I thought it was extremely rewarding for our guys. Started when we went to the opening ceremonies, and it really kind of hit home with 65,000 people cheering you on. And the game started shortly thereafter. We got some success, won some close games, and really built a lot of positive momentum. But just an incredible experience, certainly a lifetime memory, and one I'm sure everyone in our program will never forget.
Let's go back to Dan in the front row to the right.
Going off of that, this is for each of you, the players, just what you can say about your trip to Italy and representing the United States, winning a gold medal, a lot of pieces to that. So just kind of how the trip was, what you thought of Italy, and then at the same time to represent America and bring home the gold.
I think the experience out in Italy was a great experience. Just seeing new scenery. I mean, you see a lot of Italy on TV shows and in movies and stuff like that, but to go there and experience it firsthand was definitely a real special experience for me, because I'm heavy into those like crime and mob movies and stuff like that, so they're always over there. So to see a little bit of that and kind of see where all that stuff kind of branched from, it was really special for me. But getting back to basketball, it was really special. It was just like Coach said, you go out there, opening ceremonies, 60,000 people, all these people cheering for you, and even people that's from their native country cheering for us. It just showed how much of a responsibility we had to protect the 3 letters on our chest. So I think that was very special. And also we were able to get momentum each game. It was like each game we just kept getting more and more momentum. Pool play, we had some tough games. I think we probably only really had 1 blowout win. And then we probably had 1 blowout win the whole time we were there. Everything else were nail biters. But I think that I wouldn't have wanted it to have it any other way, because those nail biters are kind of what gave us momentum to keep going and just keep giving us hope and keep giving us hope. So I think that's some momentum from there. We won, so that's obviously exciting. And I think that momentum is something that's going to help carry us this season and stuff like that. So, yeah.
To piggyback off of John, it was kind of different for me a little bit because I had the experience of going to Spain my freshman summer, and I was kind of curious to see how it would be different from that experience, being just like a playful area, and just like we kind of had a lot of freedom to like just learn about the country and whatnot. But going to Italy, it was more of a business trip, as a lot of people like to say, and I think we all were caught on board, and we all bought into Coach Brownell's philosophies and what he wanted us to produce for our country and our school, more importantly. And it was just a great learning experience, something that we'll never forget. And being there, we kind of came together more as a team, and it kind of forced us to grow and to mature a little bit earlier than most people have to, because you're kind of put in an extreme situation where you're away from home and you're just with your teammates and your coaches and then the supporting staff that we obviously had out there. But it was just a great learning experience, like John said, from watching movies and whatnot to actually seeing like live plays that you've seen growing up. So it was just like a really fun thing for us. And also with like the nail biters, it was very scary to be in that situation for the first time, really, because you're going against grown men, really. And to be able to pull it out, it just showed our program and what we like to produce to the world with our Clemson grit and always like fighting at and hammering at the nail and making sure that we're getting the job done, whether it's ugly or a pretty win. And that was just something that we'll never forget going forward in our lives.
Gentlemen, we'll go to the cameras in the back, the gentleman in the gray shirt.
Robert McRae, the Clemson Insider. Coach Brownell, with so many new players in key roles this summer, how surprised were you that things gelled so quickly?
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising for sure. We had 7 new players join our program and all at different times. Whether it was transfers coming in late, we had a couple guys come in about 2 weeks before we left. High school guys, a couple of them got there about a month to 5 weeks ahead. So I think it speaks to the character of our players that these guys all in different points in their career, because we have 2 grad transfers, 3 freshmen, and 2 regular transfers, that it points to the character of our team and that these guys were all able to put aside egos and really concentrate on one goal. And I was really pleased that our new guys came in with a humble attitude, a serving attitude, but our older guys also were remarkable in the way that they led and really helped teach the young guys what we're trying to accomplish and how we do things in our program. So certainly the experience was helpful in a lot of ways, but it was probably the result was probably something that was a little bit unexpected, to be honest with you.
John, from the podium, what did you learn about yourself and what did you learn about the league in your first year through?
Really, what I learned about myself is how I kind of like fit into our program, I guess. Coach Brownell is really big on the grit and growth thing, and I went through I had ups and downs throughout my season, times where I felt like, you know what I'm saying, like I'm at my peak, well, not at my peak, but I'm making a rise. But then I had some games where I didn't feel like I was at my best, but I just really just kept at it, and I think my faith really had a big part to play in that. I was just trusting God and just trusting my process, because to get to where I am right now, it hasn't been the easiest, but I've always just stuck with it. And I think that's kind of why Coach Brownell gets guys like me in his program. Guys like me that realize like the path to gold is not always going to be pretty. It's going to be tough, but if you just keep grinding and being gritty and really buy into that growth aspect of things, that you can accomplish great things. And then what I learned about the league was you just got to bring it every single night. And that's something I'm still learning. Even in practice, sometimes I have my days where I'm not necessarily all the way engaged and I don't have my best practices, but I think that's just me. I just have to learn I'm just getting used to having to bring it every time. My roles increased. Last year I didn't have as big as a role. And then, going back farther, and when I was in high school, you don't necessarily have to bring it every night because everyone's not good. But in this league, everybody's good. Everyone's the best player on their high school team. So you're playing against those teams night in and night out, and you can get 30 on your head. So you just got to be ready at all times.
Amir, same type of question. You've now been through the cycle twice, and as a junior, what have you learned, and what are you teaching some of the younger guys, like John, who is still, as he admitted, still kind of young?
Since I've been here, I'm going into my 3rd year, I had the luxury actually to sit behind Dante Grantham, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, and learn from him and his leadership and how he approached certain things and how he kind of handled situations, even with his injury, how he was still a very vocal leader on the sidelines and on the court in practices. So with me, I've taken a part of that into my process of how to be towards these guys. And it was kind of like I struggled with it at first early on in the summer. And I see now as like an older player how easily you can get frustrated watching a younger guy kind of mess up continuously and almost effortlessly. So it's like something I've learned since I've been here is to have composure and be poised in certain situations. You have to approach different situations differently with each kind of guy on the team, especially with young guys, because we have a really good mix of young to old. With we having a nice little freshman class, our sophomore class, our junior class, and our graduating seniors. So for me, it's been something of a learning experience to approach the ways differently and how to lead your guys in a different way without being negative or, getting on guys too hard. But I've learned also that every day is different, every practice is different, and every day is an opportunity to grow. So I try to remember that going into each practice, each film session, and each game that we have. And it's just been a trip for me as well, a blessing for me to have the opportunity and the platform to help my teammates grow as well as myself in the process.
Coach, we're on a roll. What have you learned now, 9 seasons through, heading into your 10th?
Oh, a lot. First of all, it's a privilege to coach in this league, and to have the opportunity to coach at Clemson every day, something that I, cherish and greatly appreciate. I think in order to survive, the culture of your program has to be solid. You have to have a good foundation. And as you get a little bit older, you realize it's even more than just basketball for certain. And if you're educating and supporting the young people in your program the right way and giving them proper guidance in all areas, that the basketball part will be better. And I think that's something that you develop and grow as you're in the league a little bit.
Clemson, thank you. Good luck this season.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Folks, Notre Dame.